Welcome back, American coin hunter. The 1975 1-cent coin, also known as the Lincoln penny, is a small yet incredibly important piece of American numismatic history. Often overlooked due to its face value, the true significance and potential value of this coin can only be fully appreciated when we take a deep dive into its design, composition, historical context, variants, minting process, and the mysterious allure that has sparked rumors of it being worth as much as $193 million in the right circumstances. At first glance, the 1975 penny appears to be just another in the long-running series of Lincoln cents that began in 1909, but for coin collectors, history enthusiasts, and investors who specialize in rare coins, the 1975 issue holds many secrets. It's a story not just about copper and zinc, but about the legacy of a president, the evolution of American coinage, the precision of minting technology, and the unique anomalies that can elevate a common coin to mythical status. We begin with the physical characteristics. The 1975 penny was produced using the standard composition of the era, 95% copper and 5% zinc, which had been in use since 1962. This makes the coin weigh approximately 3.11 grams, which is notably heavier than the pennies minted after 1982, which shifted to a zinc core with a thin copper coating and weighed only 2.5 grams. That subtle change in weight is one of the critical identifiers for collectors trying to verify the authenticity and composition of coins from the mid-1970s. The heavier weight not only affects the coin's feel in your hand, but also changes how it sounds when dropped on a surface, a small detail that some seasoned collectors use when initially evaluating coins in bulk. Holding a 1975 cent in your hand, you're feeling solid copper, a metal that has become more and more valuable over the decades. Although melting pennies for metal value is illegal under U.S. law, the copper alone in a pre-1982 penny is worth more than 1 cent in raw material, which adds another layer of interest to these coins. On the obverse side of the coin, we see the familiar profile of President Abraham Lincoln, a design that has stood the test of time for well over a century. Sculpted by Victor David Brenner, Lincoln's right-facing portrait was introduced in 1909 to mark the 100th anniversary of his birth. It was the first time a U.S. president's image appeared on a circulating coin, and the public received the design with great enthusiasm. Brenner's portrayal of Lincoln is serious, dignified, and intimate, revealing the president's high cheekbones, furrowed brow, and trademark beard. Every line in his face seems to tell a story. Stories of civil war, emancipation, unity, and the cost of leadership. The design has endured with only minor modifications, which makes small variations or flaws in the 1975 version especially interesting to those who study die varieties and mint errors. To the left of Lincoln's image is the word liberty, a foundational concept of the American experiment, rendered in bold capital letters. To the right is the year of minting, 1975, struck clearly and prominently, representing not only the year the coin was produced but also anchoring it to a specific moment in U.S. history. Above Lincoln's head is the national motto, "In God We Trust," a phrase rooted in American tradition and reflective of the moral and cultural ethos of the time. Beneath the date, depending on the mint location, you may or may not find a mint mark. A small D indicates the coin was struck at the Denver Mint, while an S designates the San Francisco Mint. Coins from the Philadelphia Mint during the era often lacked a mint mark altogether, though this was standard practice and not an error. These seemingly minor details are vitally important when evaluating a coin's rarity and desirability. Turning the coin over, the reverse design showcases the Lincoln Memorial, introduced in 1959 to replace the wheat ears design that had graced the reverse since the coin's inception in 1909. This change marked the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The memorial design was created by Frank Gasparo, who would later become the chief engraver of the United States Mint. The architectural lines of the memorial are crisp and geometric, capturing the neoclassical majesty of the monument in Washington, D.C. If you look closely, extremely closely, you can see a tiny rendering of Lincoln seated within the monument, just as he appears in the actual sculpture. This tiny detail is among the finest on any coin in circulation at the time, and is a tribute to the craftsmanship and precision of the mint's engravers and die makers. Above the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse are the words, "United States of America," arched along the top edge of the coin. Beneath that is the Latin phrase, "E pluribus unum," meaning, "out of many, one," a motto reflecting the unity of the diverse American people. At the bottom, clearly and boldly, the denomination, 1 cent, is spelled out in full. Interestingly, this is the only U.S. coin to feature its denomination in words instead of numerals. This simple phrase anchors the coin in its everyday utility, but doesn't even begin to suggest the true value that some specimens of the 1975 penny might carry. Now, what could possibly make a coin with a face value of 1 cent be worth as much as $193 million? That kind of valuation might seem exaggerated or the stuff of fantasy, but when we consider the rarest and most sought-after coins in history, those which cross into the realm of the ultra-rare, unique experimental strikes, coins with once-in-a-lifetime minting errors, or those which hold immense historical significance, such values are not entirely out of the question. In fact, some rumors in the numismatic community suggest that there may be one or two ultra-rare 1975 pennies in existence that were never intended for public release. These might include coins struck on experimental planchets such as aluminum, bronze-clad steel, or other test materials the U.S. Mint was experimenting with during the economic uncertainties of the early 1970s. To understand this possibility, we need to revisit a historical moment that predates 1975 slightly, but has a direct connection. In the early 1970s, the rising cost of copper prompted the Mint to search for alternative materials for coin production. In 1973 and 1974, several experimental 1-cent coins were struck in aluminum, and roughly 1.5 million were produced in anticipation of an eventual material switch. However, the aluminum cent project was abruptly canceled due to objections from vending machine companies, concerns from the medical community about X-ray visibility, and legislative pushback. Most of the aluminum cents were believed to be melted down, but a few escaped destruction. Some turned up in the hands of collectors or former Mint employees and were eventually confiscated by the U.S. Secret Service due to questions about their legality. These aluminum cents have been the subject of numerous legal disputes and media reports. So, what does this have to do with 1975? There is speculation that the Mint may have continued experimenting beyond 1974 and into 1975, perhaps striking a very small number of test coins using different metals or techniques. If even one of these coins survived, undocumented and hidden away, its value would be incalculable. It would be the only known example of its kind, making it a true one-of-one artifact. Coin collectors refer to such coins as unicorns, items so rare that their price is determined not by comparison to previous sales, but by the imagination, passion, and bank account of the interested buyer. In the high-end coin market, where bidders include museums, private collectors, hedge fund managers, and even royalty, the sky is the limit. Now imagine the frenzy such a discovery would cause in the coin collecting community. Numismatic publications would erupt with headlines, grading services would battle for the opportunity to authenticate and encapsulate the specimen, and major auction houses would prepare to market it worldwide. The buzz wouldn't stop with the numismatic industry. Mainstream media would report on it, financial analysts would speculate on its market implications, and history enthusiasts would dive deep into every aspect of its provenance. A single coin, a 1975 1-cent piece, could suddenly become one of the most talked about artifacts in the country, if not the world. But for that to happen, the coin would need to be authentic, unique, and legally obtainable. Any single one of these factors is difficult to satisfy, but all three? That's when a penny becomes worth not just a few dollars or even a few thousand, but millions, possibly the reported $193 million under the perfect storm of circumstances. Even putting aside those speculative ultra-rarities, regular 1975 pennies can command significant premiums under the right conditions. Condition is everything in the world of coin collecting. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70 by third-party grading services like the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, and the Numismatic Guarantee Company, NGC. A grade of MS60 or higher indicates a coin that has never been circulated and shows no signs of wear. The higher the grade, the more flawless the coin, and once you start reaching grades like MS67, MS68, or the near-perfect MS69, the value begins to climb exponentially. A 1975 penny graded MS67 red, for example, might fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auction, depending on demand. And there are collectors whose only interest lies in securing the highest graded examples of every coin in the Lincoln series, which creates ongoing demand for these top-tier coins. It's also important to understand the concept of color designation in copper coins. A Lincoln cent is typically assigned a color grade of red, RD, red-brown, RB, or brown, BN, depending on the amount of original mint luster remaining on its surface. Red coins are the most desirable because they indicate minimal oxidation and the highest level of preservation. A 1975 cent with a full red designation and no contact marks is an extremely impressive find, especially in today's market where most surviving examples have long since turned brown from oxidation or have been damaged through handling. The combination of a high numeric grade and a full red color designation can transform a simple 1-cent coin into a serious investment-grade asset. We must also consider mint errors, one of the most exciting and unpredictable aspects of coin collecting. Errors occur during the minting process and come in many forms: double dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, die caps, broad strikes, and more. A 1975 penny with a dramatic off-center strike or a strong double die obverse could easily be worth hundreds or thousands of dollars depending on severity and eye appeal. These types of coins are sometimes found in pocket change or rolls, but the most valuable examples are those in pristine condition. Some collectors specialize entirely in errors, seeking out these one-of-a-kind mistakes that slip past the mint's quality control. There's something thrilling about knowing that an error coin shouldn't even exist. It was a mistake, a fluke, and yet it survived to tell its story. Then, there's the question of proof coins. In 1975, the San Francisco Mint produced proof sets for collectors. Proof coins are struck using specially polished dies and planchets, resulting in a mirror-like finish and razor-sharp details. The 1975 proof cent is one of these coins, and while they were produced in the millions, finding one that's completely flawless, with deep cameo contrast and perfect surfaces, is another matter entirely. Proof coins graded PR70 DCM, deep cameo, are extremely rare and desirable. These coins are often purchased by registry set collectors, who compete to assemble the finest complete collections possible. Even a single point higher on the grading scale can mean the difference between a coin worth $20 and one worth several hundred or more. The perfection that collectors seek in these coins is relentless, and that demand helps drive prices up even for relatively common dates. But it's not just about physical characteristics. The 1975 cent also has deep historical resonance. The year 1975 was a turning point in the United States, a time of political and cultural upheaval. The Vietnam War had just ended with the fall of Saigon. President Gerald Ford was in the White House, dealing with the aftermath of the Watergate scandal and attempting to restore public trust in the government. The nation was still reeling from inflation, unemployment, and the energy crisis. Popular culture was exploding with new forms of music, fashion, and media. Movies like Jaws dominated the box office, the disco era was beginning, and the personal computer was starting to appear on the technological horizon. The US was gearing up for its bicentennial in 1976, and there was a growing awareness of the country's complex history. In this context, every coin minted became a tiny time capsule, a pocket-sized artifact of a nation at a crossroads. Each 1975 penny that passed through someone's hands, in a gas station, a diner, a school cafeteria, was a silent witness to these events. That's part of the emotional power of coin collecting. It's not just about rarity or value, it's about connection. Holding a 1975 cent, you might wonder whose pocket it sat in, what it purchased, what stories it could tell. Perhaps it helped buy a newspaper with headlines about Nixon's pardon, or maybe it was dropped into a jukebox to play a hit single of the era. These personal, almost romanticized narratives give even the most common coins a sense of character and depth. And for collectors who cherish history, these stories are priceless. There's also the matter of survival rate, a key concept in numismatics. Even though hundreds of millions of 1975 cents were struck, only a small percentage survive in high-grade condition today. Most were spent, worn down, damaged, or lost. Some were melted or corroded. Others sat in drawers or piggy banks, forgotten for decades. That means that coins in pristine mint state are genuinely scarce, and their scarcity increases every year as more coins disappear or degrade. The market value of any coin is ultimately driven by supply and demand. If demand increases, as it has in recent years, particularly with the rise of online coin communities, YouTube collectors, and social media influencers, then even moderately rare coins can see significant price appreciation. And let's not ignore the influence of modern trends on the coin market. With the rise of digital platforms, rare coins are being shared, bought, sold, and celebrated more than ever before. Viral videos about valuable coins have led to widespread public interest. Suddenly, people who never thought about coin collecting are checking their pocket change, watching numismatic videos, and searching eBay for hidden gems. The 1975 cent has benefited from this trend, as countless viewers search for examples with errors, high grades, or unique characteristics. Every year, the bar gets higher for what collectors consider worthy of investment. And yet, the humble penny, a coin many people ignore, keeps finding its way into the spotlight. Meanwhile, rumors of ultra-rare 1975 cents with experimental compositions continue to circulate. Some say a few aluminum cents from 1975 were struck secretly, and may exist in private collections. Others speculate about a pattern coin, an early strike prepared to test a new design or alloy that was never meant to leave the mint. These coins would be legally and historically controversial, but also unimaginably valuable. If one such coin were to emerge and be authenticated, it could truly sell for an astronomical sum. And that is how we arrive at the speculative figure of $193 million, a valuation that, while not tied to any known public sale, represents the theoretical maximum value for the most unique, historically significant, and legally transferable 1975 1-cent coin imaginable. In the world of ultra-rare collectibles, this kind of pricing is not unheard of. The art world has seen paintings sell for hundreds of millions. Rare cars, stamps, sports memorabilia, and even comic books have crossed the 9-figure threshold under the right circumstances. Coins are no different. The 1794 flowing hair dollar, the first silver dollar struck by the U.S. Mint, sold for over $10 million. The 1933 Double Eagle, a $20 gold coin never legally circulated, fetched over $18 million. If a coin were to combine historical significance, artistic beauty, legal rarity, and mystery, its value could indeed approach or exceed $193 million, especially if it were the only known example. Speculation, while thrilling, always requires caution in the numismatic world. Enthusiasts and collectors know that myths, misinformation, and exaggerations can travel fast, especially online, but they also understand that behind every great discovery was once a rumor. And sometimes, those rumors prove true. There have been coins believed to be lost to history that surfaced in the most unexpected places: estate sales, safety deposit boxes, old books, and even among pocket change. The dream of finding $1 million coin keeps collectors searching. And the 1975 penny, with all of its variations, historical connections, and unexplored possibilities, is one of those coins that continues to spark curiosity and hope. To truly understand how a simple penny can reach such staggering speculative heights, you must understand how collectors value coins, not just in terms of their grade, metal, and rarity, but also the intangible elements like story, provenance, and symbolism. The emotional component of collecting cannot be overstated. Some people want the rarest, not because they intend to sell it, but because they want to be its steward, the protector of something precious and irreplaceable. That stewardship, in itself, is priceless. And this is how value transforms from mere money into something far more powerful: legacy. The United States Mint, which produced the 1975 cent, has a storied history of its own. With facilities in Philadelphia, Denver, San Francisco, and formerly in New Orleans and Carson City, the Mint has struck billions of coins for circulation, commemoratives, proofs, and experimental purposes. Each mint has its own legacy and quirks. In 1975, production of the cent was robust, with hundreds of millions of coins struck between Philadelphia and Denver, and proof coins produced in San Francisco. The dies used during this era were subject to intense wear due to the massive volume of output, which resulted in small variations that collectors meticulously study today, everything from repunched mint marks to die cracks and cuts. These small variations, sometimes missed during inspection, create subcategories of the coin that can elevate it from common to collectible. One of the most famous varieties among Lincoln cents are double die coins, the result of a misalignment during the die creation process that causes design elements to be stamped twice slightly offset. While the most famous double die Lincoln cent is the 1955 version, collectors are always hunting for undiscovered double dies from other years, including 1975. A dramatic double die from that year, if authenticated, would immediately become one of the most valuable coins in the Lincoln series. Some collectors have submitted coins they suspect to be double dies, and while most turn out to be die deterioration doubling, which is common and not particularly valuable, there remains a constant buzz about the possibility that a major discovery is still out there. The idea that an everyday object, like a coin found in your pocket, could be worth millions is more than just fantasy, it's historical precedent. There are numerous examples where people unknowingly spent or gave away coins worth small fortunes simply because they didn't know what they had. A woman once paid for lunch with a coin later found to be a rare early dime worth over $1.5 million. In another case, a man bought a roll of coins at a bank only to discover a 1969 double die penny inside, a coin worth tens of thousands of dollars. These stories fuel the hobby and serve as a reminder that incredible finds are possible for those who take the time to look, and that's what makes the 1975 penny so endlessly fascinating. It sits at the intersection of the common and the extraordinary. On one hand, it's a coin nearly everyone has seen, spent, or held at some point. On the other, it holds secrets, potential anomalies, variations, or lost treasures that could make it one of the most valuable coins ever struck. Its humble appearance belies the complexity of its story, and its ubiquity hides the possibility of hidden rarities. No other coin better exemplifies the old adage in numismatics: always check your change. For collectors, coin shows and auctions offer another avenue of discovery. When a particularly well-preserved or unique 1975 penny goes up for auction, it's not uncommon for multiple bidders to drive the price up well beyond its expected value. And when that coin has an exceptional backstory, such as having been found in an unopened mint roll or discovered in an old family collection, the emotional appeal drives bidding even higher. Auction houses often assign these coins prominent placement in catalogs, complete with high-resolution photography, provenance documentation, and commentary from professional graders. And when a bidding war ensues, the price can climb rapidly, turning a once humble coin into a headline. Coin collecting has also seen a surge in popularity thanks to the digital revolution. Platforms like YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok have become powerful tools for numismatists to share knowledge, showcase collections, and spark widespread interest in coins like the 1975 Lincoln cent. Educational content, coin hunts, and unboxing videos draw millions of views, and many of these content creators focus specifically on pennies, their history, mint marks, errors, and investment potential. The rise of these influencers has helped make coins not just collectibles, but also pop culture artifacts. People now search for coins not only in coin shops, but also in their pockets, their children's piggy banks, and forgotten jars in kitchen cabinets. In many cases, their journey begins with a question: could this penny be worth something? This cultural phenomenon contributes directly to the value of coins, like the 1975 cent. As more people become aware of the potential hidden value in everyday change, demand rises, and supply contracts, especially for high-grade examples. As demand increases, so does the number of coins being submitted to grading services. And grading itself is an industry, with entire businesses built around evaluating and certifying the condition of coins. The label on a coin slab, its official plastic holder, carries with it the authority of experts and can drastically influence a coin's price. A 1975 cent that's certified MS67 read by PCGS, for example, may command hundreds more than the exact same coin ungraded or graded slightly lower. Certification provides assurance, and that assurance translates into value. Collectors also seek coins with so-called first strike status, those believed to be among the earliest coins struck from freshly polished dies. These coins often display sharper details, cleaner surfaces, and stronger luster, making them particularly attractive. While the U.S. Mint does not officially distinguish these coins during production, some grading companies offer first strike labels for coins submitted within a specific time window after release. For proof coins, which are struck with special care, early strikes can show near-perfect surfaces and deep cameo contrast, the shimmering mirror fields and frosted design elements that make these coins highly collectible. Provenance is another powerful factor in valuation. A coin with a documented history, especially one that links it to a famous collection, historical event, or individual, carries prestige that increases its desirability. Imagine a 1975 cent that once belonged to a prominent numismatist, featured in a landmark coin collection, or was the subject of an important journal article. That coin would have value beyond its physical traits. It would have a story. And stories drive value. We must also address the concept of coin hoards, large quantities of coins accumulated and stored over time. When such hoards are discovered, they sometimes contain rare dates or mint marks previously thought to be extinct. If a hoard of 1975 cents were to be discovered containing hundreds of uncirculated coins or proof-like examples, it would shift the market overnight. These hoards are usually uncovered during estate sales, bank vault audits, or the cleaning out of long-forgotten storage lockers. For coin collectors, the dream is not only to find a valuable coin, but to stumble upon a hoard that changes what is known about a coin's availability or condition. Even the artistic side of coin collecting should not be overlooked. The design of the Lincoln cent, from Brenner's original bust of Lincoln to Gasparo's Lincoln Memorial reverse, is a triumph of miniature sculpture. The level of detail achieved on a coin no bigger than a thumbnail is astonishing. Artists and engravers at the U.S. Mint labor over tiny details that require magnification to see clearly. When examining a high-grade 1975 cent under magnification, one can appreciate the crispness of Lincoln's jawline, the sharp definition of each column on the memorial, and the smooth curvature of the lettering. In a world increasingly dominated by digital currencies, there is something deeply satisfying about holding a work of engraved metal in your hand. A physical connection to history and craftsmanship. In recent years, the growing interest in tangible investments has also played a role in increasing coin values. As people look to diversify their portfolios beyond stocks, real estate, and crypto, they often turn to collectibles, items that hold intrinsic or cultural value. Rare coins, especially those with documented historical significance and limited supply, are increasingly viewed as hard assets. Coins are portable, easy to store, and, when properly authenticated, highly liquid. For investors with a long-term perspective, a high-grade 1975 cent, especially one with unique features, may represent both a historical artifact and a hedge against inflation. The story of the 1975 penny is not just one of potential value and rarity, but also one of legacy. Abraham Lincoln, whose image graces the obverse of this coin, remains one of the most revered figures in American history. The decision to feature him on the cent in 1909 was more than a commemorative gesture. It was a symbol of national unity and remembrance. By 1975, the Lincoln cent had been in circulation for over 6 decades, and yet its design remained largely unchanged. That continuity is part of what gives the coin its power. To hold a 1975 penny is to hold a piece of that enduring legacy, a symbol of perseverance through war, economic crisis, and national transformation. It is not merely copper and zinc, it is memory forged into metal. As we consider what sets the 1975 penny apart, we must revisit the speculative stories and underground rumors that continue to stir debate among collectors. The tale of the missing 1975 aluminum cent, a possible experimental coin that has yet to surface publicly, is the kind of lore that fuels late-night conversations at coin conventions and online forums. Some believe it exists, tucked away in a collection or forgotten in an old estate. Others doubt its existence entirely. But if even a single example were to appear, fully authenticated, legally transferable, and tied to official mint experimentation, it would be a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. In such a scenario, the coin would not be valued based solely on its metal or grade. It would be valued on the fact that it had crossed the threshold of the impossible, the kind of artifact that redefines what we think we know about U.S. coinage history. The U.S. Mint is no stranger to controversies or mysterious issues. Over the decades, many coins have been struck in error or under unusual circumstances. Some of these coins were supposed to be destroyed, never meant to leave the mint. Yet somehow, they did. The 1974 aluminum cent, for example, was struck by the Philadelphia Mint but later recalled and ordered destroyed. A few examples escaped. One surfaced at a university, another in a private collection. Legal battles ensued. The government demanded their return. The collectors resisted. This back and forth only increased the coin's mystique and value. A similar fate could await a lost or unrevealed 1975 aluminum cent, if one exists. The value, in that case, would not be determined by a price guide but by an auction room filled with elite collectors bidding with their hearts, their history, and their competitive passion. But not all valuable coins are shrouded in mystery. Some of the most prized 1975 cents are simply those preserved in flawless condition. Imagine a penny struck in 1975, immediately sealed in a protective holder, untouched by human hands for 50 years. No fingerprints, no scratches, no tarnish. The fields of the coin are flawless mirrors, the device is perfectly struck, the color a brilliant copper red glow. That coin, graded MS69 red, would be among the finest in existence. And that kind of coin, even without any errors or experimental features, could be worth thousands, if not tens of thousands, to the right collector. Because in the world of numismatics, perfection is rare. And rarity, combined with demand, is the ultimate driver of price. Grading services have revolutionized the hobby. In the past, collectors had to rely on subjective descriptions and photographs. Today, with third-party certification, coins are professionally examined, graded, and sealed in tamper-proof slabs that preserve and protect them for generations. A coin graded by PCGS or NGC comes with an added layer of trust and liquidity. Collectors know what they're getting. Investors feel more confident. And buyers are willing to pay a premium for that assurance. For the 1975 cent, this means that coins graded MS66 or higher are tracked in auction databases, registry sets, and price trends. When a new high-grade example appears, the market reacts. Records are broken. Bidding wars erupt. And the legend of the 1975 penny grows even more intriguing. One often overlooked aspect of the 1975 penny is its educational role. For many young collectors, the Lincoln cent, and particularly examples from the 1970s, serves as the entry point into the hobby. Coin folders sold at bookstores and toy stores often feature cutouts labeled by year and mint mark. Kids search through jars and pocket change to fill the spaces. The 1975 D penny, the 1975 as proof, the no mint mark Philadelphia example, each becomes a milestone in their journey. It's a way of learning history, geography, and economics all at once. This grassroots exposure ensures that demand for coins, like the 1975 cent, will continue to rise, as each generation rediscovers the magic of coin collecting through these small copper ambassadors of American history. Over the decades, entire books and articles have been written about Lincoln cents. They are the longest-running coin design in U.S. history. And while some years, like 1909 SVDB or 1955 Double Die, steal the headlines, the 1975 coin remains a central part of the story. Its importance is magnified by the sheer number of people who have handled it, saved it, spent it, or studied it. Even if you've never paid attention to coins, chances are high that you've encountered a 1975 penny without even realizing it. That silent ubiquity, the way it blends into the background of daily life, is part of what makes the coin so fascinating. It hides in plain sight, yet may hold secrets of extraordinary value. And this is where the heart of numismatics lies, not just in charts and price guides, but in wonder. Every coin has a story, and every collector becomes a kind of historian, detective, and archivist. The 1975 penny story is still unfolding. New discoveries are made each year. New varieties are listed. New errors are found. Auction results reset expectations. What was once thought to be common may turn out to be scarce and high grade. What was once dismissed as ordinary may prove to be extraordinary. The field is alive with possibility, and the 1975 cent is one of the most exciting coins to watch. Even after all this time, it continues to teach, to surprise, and to inspire. Whether tucked into an album, displayed under glass, or held between fingertips, the coin has a quiet power. It represents not just currency, but continuity. It is an echo of Lincoln's legacy, a mirror of America's journey through the mid-1970s, and a reminder that sometimes, the most valuable treasures are the ones we overlook. There is a curious paradox at the core of the 1975 penny. It is both incredibly common and potentially extraordinary. Hundreds of millions were minted, and yet some of them, a handful perhaps, may be unlike any other. Every year, new collectors and treasure hunters begin their journey with the Lincoln cent, pulling handfuls of coins from circulation or inherited jars, hoping to uncover something special. The 1975 penny, often ignored by the average person, suddenly becomes a center of focus, examined under magnifying glasses, weighed on precise digital scales, photographed, and even submitted for professional grading. It is the ultimate coin of mystery, because within its massive mintage hides the potential for anomalies and rare varieties that haven't yet been discovered, or if they have been, haven't yet received widespread attention. The idea that a single 1975 penny could be worth $193 million may seem outlandish to most people, but history proves otherwise. The coin market is driven not just by logic, but by emotion, rarity, and competition. In the rarest of cases, value is not determined by precedent but by passion. If a 1975 cent were to be discovered that combined several remarkable factors, say, a unique error, an experimental composition, a legally owned and authenticated provenance, and a flawless mint state grade, its price could easily defy expectation. In that moment, it would no longer be just a coin. It would become a symbol of discovery, a trophy for the elite, and a headline that would echo across every major news outlet around the world. Some of the highest value coin sales in history have not been tied solely to rarity, but to narrative. The 1794 flowing hair silver dollar sold for over $10 million because it was believed to be the first silver dollar ever struck by the United States Mint. The 1933 St. Gaudens double eagle reached more than $18 million at auction, largely due to the controversy around its legality and survival. Those coins carry stories that are as valuable as the metal they are made from. The 1975 penny could potentially join those ranks, not because of what it is on the surface, but because of what it represents: the convergence of error, timing, mystery, and monumental historical relevance. Consider for a moment the environment in which the 1975 penny was produced. America in 1975 was recovering from the shocks of Watergate and the resignation of Richard Nixon. The country was healing politically, socially, and economically. Gerald Ford was now president, inflation was surging, unemployment was high, and the trust in government institutions was still shaky. Yet the mint continued its operations, producing coins as a steady symbol of continuity and trust. The Lincoln cent, the most widely used coin in the nation, continued to circulate without fail. A coin from that year is a silent emblem of that resilience, a testament to the durability of the republic and its institutions. Even the economic composition of the coin tells a story. Copper, once cheap and plentiful, had become expensive due to global demand, causing the mint to experiment with alternative metals. Although the official switch wouldn't come until 1982, discussions and preparations had already begun. That's why collectors speculate about possible test coins or off-metal errors from the mid-1970s. Imagine a 1975 cent struck on a leftover aluminum planchet from the 1974 experiment. Imagine one struck on a foreign coin planchet by mistake, something that has happened before in other years. These anomalies, if discovered, would instantly be worth a fortune. And since the mint rarely reveals every detail of its past testing practices, there's always room for speculation. The unknown is what keeps collectors checking, inspecting, weighing, and comparing even the most ordinary coins. Die varieties and errors from 1975 also keep collectors intrigued. Some 1975 D pennies have been discovered with minor repunched mint marks, a feature where the mint mark was struck more than once in slightly different positions. While these may not be as dramatic as a double die, they are cataloged and tracked by serious collectors. Some researchers have reported small die cracks and chips that give the appearance of additional features, like extra letters or raised lines across Lincoln's face or coat. These so-called die breaks, or cuds, are fascinating because they often appear in only a small number of coins before the die is replaced. That means they can be extremely rare in the wild. Modern technology has also changed how we evaluate coins. High-resolution digital microscopes, 4K cameras, and advanced editing software have allowed collectors to analyze their coins in stunning detail, far beyond what was possible even 2 decades ago. This has led to the discovery of previously undocumented errors and varieties in coins, like the 1975 penny. YouTube and social media channels now host thousands of videos where collectors break down coins millimeter by millimeter, identifying tiny imperfections, variations, and potential misstrikes that may have escaped initial inspection. With so many eyes on this single year, it's only a matter of time before another major discovery emerges. And when it does, the value and interest around the 1975 cent will only continue to rise. It's also worth considering how sentimental value factors into coin collecting. Many people save coins from their birth year or the year a loved one was born. A 1975 penny might be saved for someone born in that year, given as a gift, or held as a personal keepsake. While not all of these coins are valuable in monetary terms, they carry emotional weight, and in many cases, people are willing to pay premiums for high-grade coins from years of personal importance. That emotional connection reinforces the idea that a coin is not just money. It's a token of time, a piece of personal history cast in metal. Multiply that emotional demand across thousands of people, and you begin to see how the market for coins, like the 1975 penny, stays strong even without rare errors. From an economic perspective, the 1975 penny has multiple layers of value. First is the face value, 1 cent. Then comes the metal value, which in a pre-1982 coin is mostly copper, now worth more than 1 cent but legally unmeltable. Then comes collectible value, driven by grade, mint mark, condition, and rarity. And finally, speculative value, the possibility that a specific example may contain a unique feature that sends its worth skyrocketing. These values layer together like sediment, forming the foundation of the coin's current and future worth. And unlike modern coins made primarily for transactional utility, the 1975 cent belongs to a transitional period where art, history, metal, and story combine. Even beyond the US, international collectors seek out American coins, like the 1975 penny. The Lincoln cent has fans all over the world. For many, it's an emblem of America's identity, leadership, and ideals. Foreign collectors often seek full Lincoln sets, and they are particularly interested in coins from historically significant years. Coins from the mid-1970s, with the Vietnam War ending, Watergate unfolding, and the bicentennial approaching, hold great appeal. That international demand adds another dimension to the 1975 penny's value, especially in online markets where collectors from different countries can now bid in real time through auction platforms and digital storefronts. The art of coin preservation is also key to maintaining and enhancing value. For the 1975 penny, preservation begins with avoiding direct contact with the coin's surface. Skin oils can cause corrosion, so handling the coin with cotton gloves or by its edges is essential. Storing the coin in acid-free flips, mylar holders, or graded slabs helps prevent environmental damage. Even a small scratch can destroy a coin's eligibility for high grades. Collectors who understand this practice build collections that are not only beautiful but financially significant. A flawless 1975 set stored properly for decades is a valuable heirloom, often passed from one generation to the next with increasing value over time. There's also the story of the long-term collector, the person who began building a Lincoln cent collection in the 1970s and still works on it today. For them, the 1975 penny may not be the most expensive coin in the set, but it could be the one with the most personal history. Maybe it was found on the sidewalk the day they graduated high school, or perhaps it was the coin that filled the final empty slot in their Whitman album. That coin has meaning, and over time, meaning turns into memory, and memory turns into value. These collectors often pass their passion down to children or grandchildren, and thus the legacy of a single 1-cent coin continues for generations. The passage of time only adds to the mystique and potential value of a coin like the 1975 penny. Decades have passed since it was first struck, yet its presence in the collector's world remains relevant and dynamic. In many ways, the older a coin becomes, the more chances it has to appreciate in both historical and monetary value. For the average person, a penny is a small, nearly forgotten object. But for the trained eye of a numismatist, even the smallest change in strike, weight, tone, or wear pattern could signal something special. That's why collectors obsess over the tiniest details that can turn a common copper cent into a rare $1,000,000 artifact. The aging process itself gives rise to another important element of a coin's appeal: toning. Natural toning occurs when the metal in a coin interacts with air, moisture, or even the chemicals in the holder it's stored in. A 1975 cent might take on a warm, rainbow-like hue over time, deep reds, purples, blues, and gold spreading across Lincoln's face, and the reverse is Lincoln Memorial. These vibrant, naturally formed patterns are highly prized by collectors, especially when they're even and aesthetically pleasing. A beautifully toned coin, particularly one with minimal contact marks, can command prices far beyond its untoned counterpart. And because each coin tones uniquely depending on its storage environment, no two-tone 1975 cents are exactly the same. Another factor contributing to high-end values is provenance. If a 1975 penny can be linked to a famous collection or historic hoard, it gains value from its past owners. Coins that were part of legendary collections like Elias Berg, Norweb, or Garrett carry a kind of historical pedigree. Even if the coin itself is not rare by type, the fact that it once belonged to a well-known numismatist increases its prestige. Collectors are willing to pay premiums for coins with documented history, especially when that history is traceable through auction records or certification documents. A 1975 penny that appears in a renowned catalog or was once owned by a major numismatic personality could fetch a price far higher than its physical condition alone might justify. And then, there are the one-of-a-kind stories that occasionally surface around coins like this. Perhaps someone discovers a 1975 penny stuck inside a sealed container, lost for 50 years, untouched and perfectly preserved. Or maybe a rare mint error is identified by a sharp-eyed collector who realizes the coin's weight is slightly off, and upon further testing, it's revealed to be struck on a leftover foreign planchet, or even an aluminum disc that somehow slipped through mint security protocols. These are not just stories. They are possibilities grounded in the strange, unpredictable nature of U.S. mint operations in the 1970s. Human error, machine failure, and experimental processes were all real factors during that time, meaning that extraordinary anomalies can and do exist. Digital platforms have expanded the reach and influence of coin collecting dramatically. Once limited to hobby clubs, coin shows, and printed newsletters, the coin community now thrives on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook groups, and dedicated forums. This new ecosystem of information, speculation, and storytelling has fueled viral interest in coins like the 1975 penny. Videos showcasing a rare find, a missed-strike, a double die, or a copper penny with an unusual weight often attract millions of views. With every viral video, the mythos of certain coins grows. The idea of finding a $1,000,000 penny in loose change captures people's imagination, inspiring them to search coin jars, thrift store cash registers, garage sale boxes, and old desk drawers. each 1975 penny becomes a potential golden ticket. This digital age also brings another important factor into play: authentication and third-party grading. Organizations like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, and NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, have revolutionized the coin world by providing standardized grading and certification. A 1975 penny that might otherwise be overlooked can gain immense credibility and market appeal if it is slabbed with a high grade or authenticated error designation. The grading process involves careful analysis under magnification, weight measurement, metal composition testing, and overall visual assessment. If a 1975 set were to receive an MS69 or even the elusive MS70 grade, it would instantly become one of the finest known, and that alone could drive its price into 6 or even 7 figures at auction. As technology and grading techniques continue to evolve, new tools such as AI-powered coin identification apps and blockchain-based ownership tracking are beginning to influence the coin market. These innovations make it easier for collectors to analyze, catalog, and sell their coins with precision and confidence. A 1975 penny that once sat unnoticed for decades could be reevaluated with cutting-edge tools and found to possess subtle yet valuable features. The democratization of these tools ensures that discoveries aren't limited to expert numismatists anymore. Anyone with a phone and a bit of curiosity can become a treasure hunter, and that surge of participation adds tremendous energy to the market. Let's also not forget the emotional legacy a single coin can carry. Imagine a grandparent passing down a jar of coins to their grandchild, filled with pennies from the 1970s. One of those coins might be a pristine 1975 cent, the very one we're discussing, preserved unknowingly in a dry environment, spared from circulation where the grandchild, years later, researching the coins, realizes its incredible rarity and potential value. Suddenly, what was once seen as a nostalgic keepsake becomes a life-changing asset. This transformation of meaning, from sentimental to historical to financial, illustrates the multifaceted nature of coin collecting. It's more than a hobby. It's part history, part mystery, part legacy, and part investment. In recent years, auction records for rare pennies have been shattered again and again. High-grade 1909 SVDB cents, 1943 copper cents, 1,955 double dies, all have broken into the 6- and 7-figure range. And with the 1975 penny becoming increasingly scarce in mint state condition, it's only a matter of time before a truly unique specimen shatters expectations. Imagine a coin with the right mix of grade, error, provenance, and story. Imagine a collector or institution bidding tens of millions to secure it, not just for the coin itself, but for what it represents, a perfect storm of numismatic excellence. That is how a $193 million valuation, while extreme, enters the realm of possibility. It's not just the coin's features, it's its rarity, its story, its emotion, its timing, and its place in a global marketplace that celebrates the rarest of the rare. The passage of time only adds to the mystique and potential value of a coin like the 1975 penny. Decades have passed since it was first struck, yet its presence in the collector's world remains relevant and dynamic. In many ways, the older a coin becomes, the more chances it has to appreciate in both historical and monetary value. For the average person, a penny is a small, nearly forgotten object. But for the trained eye of a numismatist, even the smallest change in strike, weight, tone, or wear pattern could signal something special. That's why collectors obsess over the tiniest details, details that can turn a common copper cent into a rare million-dollar artifact. The aging process itself gives rise to another important element of a coin's appeal: toning. Natural toning occurs when the metal in a coin interacts with air, moisture, or even the chemicals in the holder it's stored in. A 1975 cent might take on a warm, rainbow-like hue over time, deep reds, purples, blues, and golds spreading across Lincoln's face, and the reverse is Lincoln Memorial. These vibrant, naturally formed patterns are highly prized by collectors, especially when they're even and aesthetically pleasing. A beautifully toned coin, particularly one with minimal contact marks, can command prices far beyond its untoned counterpart. And because each coin tones uniquely depending on its storage environment, no two-tone 1975 cents are exactly the same. Another factor contributing to high-end values is provenance. If a 1975 penny can be linked to a famous collection or historic hoard, it gains value from its past owners. Coins that were part of legendary collections like Elias Berg, Norweb, or Garrett carry a kind of historical pedigree. Even if the coin itself is not rare by type, the fact that it once belonged to a well-known numismatist increases its prestige. Collectors are willing to pay premiums for coins with documented history, especially when that history is traceable through auction records or certification documents. A 1975 penny that appears in a renowned catalog or was once owned by a major numismatic personality could fetch a price far higher than its physical condition alone might justify. And then, there are the one-of-a-kind stories that occasionally surface around coins like this. Perhaps someone discovers a 1975 penny stuck inside a sealed container, lost for 50 years, untouched and perfectly preserved. Or maybe a rare mint error is identified by a sharp-eyed collector who realizes the coin's weight is slightly off, and upon further testing, it's revealed to be struck on a leftover foreign planchet, or even an aluminum disc that somehow slipped through mint security protocols. These are not just stories. They are possibilities grounded in the strange, unpredictable nature of U.S. mint operations in the 1970s. Human error, machine failure, and experimental processes were all real factors during that time, meaning that extraordinary anomalies can and do exist. Digital platforms have expanded the reach and influence of coin collecting dramatically. Once limited to hobby clubs, coin shows, and printed newsletters, the coin community now thrives on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook groups, and dedicated forums. This new ecosystem of information, speculation, and storytelling has fueled viral interest in coins like the 1975 penny. Videos showcasing a rare find, a misstrike, a double die, or a copper penny with an unusual weight often attract millions of views. With every viral video, the mythos of certain coins grows. The idea of finding $1 million penny in loose change captures people's imagination, inspiring them to search coin jars, thrift store cash registers, garage sale boxes, and old desk drawers. Each 1975 penny becomes a potential golden ticket. This digital age also brings another important factor into play: authentication and third-party grading. Organizations like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, and NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, have revolutionized the coin world by providing standardized grading and certification. A 1975 penny that might otherwise be overlooked can gain immense credibility and market appeal if it is slabbed with a high grade or authenticated error designation. The grading process involves careful analysis under magnification, weight measurement, metal composition testing, and overall visual assessment. If a 1975 set were to receive an MS69 or even the elusive MS70 grade, it would instantly become one of the finest known, and that alone could drive its price into 6 or even 7 figures at auction. As technology and grading techniques continue to evolve, new tools such as AI-powered coin identification apps and blockchain-based ownership tracking are beginning to influence the coin market. These innovations make it easier for collectors to analyze, catalog, and sell their coins with precision and confidence. A 1975 penny that once sat unnoticed for decades could be reevaluated with cutting-edge tools and found to possess subtle yet valuable features. The democratization of these tools ensures that discoveries aren't limited to expert numismatists anymore. Anyone with a phone and a bit of curiosity can become a treasure hunter, and that surge of participation adds tremendous energy to the market. Let's also not forget the emotional legacy a single coin can carry. Imagine a grandparent passing down a jar of coins to their grandchild, filled with pennies from the 1970s. One of those coins might be a pristine 1975 cent, the very one we're discussing, preserved unknowingly in a dry environment, spared from circulation where the grandchild, years later, researching the coins, realizes its incredible rarity and potential value. Suddenly, what was once seen as a nostalgic keepsake becomes a life-changing asset. This transformation of meaning, from sentimental to historical to financial, illustrates the multifaceted nature of coin collecting. It's more than a hobby. It's part history, part mystery, part legacy, and part investment. In recent years, auction records for rare pennies have been shattered again and again. High-grade 1909 SVDB cents, 1943 copper cents, 1,955 double dies, all have broken into the 6- and 7-figure range. And with the 1975 penny becoming increasingly scarce in mint state condition, it's only a matter of time before a truly unique specimen shatters expectations. Imagine a coin with the right mix of grade, error, provenance, and story. Imagine a collector or institution bidding tens of millions to secure it, not just for the coin itself, but for what it represents, a perfect storm of numismatic excellence. That is how a $193 million valuation, while extreme, enters the realm of possibility. It's not just the coin's features, it's its rarity, its story, its emotion, its timing, and its place in a global marketplace that celebrates the rarest of the rare. The allure of the 1975 penny isn't just about physical characteristics or condition, it's deeply psychological. The very notion that a humble coin resting in your pocket could be worth a life-changing fortune fuels a kind of magic, a romanticized thrill that transcends currency. That feeling is what keeps collectors glued to their magnifying glasses, poring over each tiny detail, peeking through loupes, comparing font shapes, analyzing mint marks, checking die rotations, and inspecting rim thickness. Each coin is a miniature canvas, and the 1975 1-cent coin has emerged as one of the most intriguing canvases in American coinage. It's a coin that invites obsession, because it lives in that mysterious zone where extreme rarity and total ubiquity overlap. Over 5 billion were struck, and yet only a handful are known to exist in top-tier condition with full red luster and no signs of circulation. This means that within that ocean of coins, there may still be unclaimed treasures, sitting silently in bank vaults, in old dressers, in forgotten coin jars and dusty basements. Someone, somewhere, might unknowingly possess a coin worth hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions, without the slightest idea. That's why every coin searcher, every collector, and every investor knows the next big discovery could happen any day. When people hear about a coin selling for $193 million, their first response is often disbelief. How can a penny, a 1-cent piece, fetch a value higher than a mansion, a private jet, or even a Picasso painting? But the answer is surprisingly simple: uniqueness. In collectibles, value often derives from rarity combined with narrative, and if one 1975 penny turns out to be a unique error, a pattern strike, a misdated transition coin, or has a special anomaly not seen in any other cent, then it becomes a one-of-a-kind artifact. Add historical context, flawless preservation, and demand from elite collectors and institutions, and that astronomical value becomes very real. The narrative doesn't stop at minting or condition, it extends into ownership history. A coin that once belonged to a famous numismatist, or that was passed down through generations, or that played a role in a major historical auction, such provenance adds intangible weight. Imagine a 1975 cent that was part of a private White House coin collection, or one that was submitted to the Smithsonian but lost in bureaucracy and later rediscovered. The story behind the coin becomes just as valuable as the metal it's made of. It becomes part of American culture and national identity, a physical embodiment of history and curiosity. Another intriguing element surrounding the 1975 penny lies in the world of pattern coins and test strikes. While there are no officially confirmed off-metal pattern strikes for 1975 cents, numismatists know that the U.S. Mint has a long and complex history with experimental pieces. Some were struck on aluminum, others on bronze, others on planchets meant for foreign coin contracts. Mistakes and experiments happened, and not all were documented. The idea that a single test coin, perhaps a prototype of a planned transition to different metal content or design, might exist with the 1975 date is not only plausible, it's anticipated. The numismatic world is still waiting for that anomaly to surface. And if it does, it won't just make headlines, it will rewrite the books. Modern technology has only increased this fascination. With the rise of digital grading, image recognition software, and AI-based detection tools, collectors can now analyze coins in greater detail than ever before. Errors that would have gone unnoticed 50 years ago are now being cataloged, shared across global communities in seconds, and authenticated through sophisticated grading labs. Coins that may have been dismissed as average in the past are now getting a second look. That means the value of a 1975 penny isn't static, it evolves as knowledge increases. New varieties are discovered. New grades are assigned. New markets open. And as time passes, scarcity increases. Let's not forget about international interest. While the 1975 penny is an American coin, collectors around the world hunt U.S. cents with fervor. In countries like Canada, the UK, India, Pakistan, Japan, and Germany, numismatic hobbyists trade, sell, and study American coins with just as much intensity. Global auctions bring in international bids. Overseas collectors may have preserved cents from 1975 in albums for decades, unaware of their potential worth. The market for a high-value U.S. coin is truly global, and when a coin like a 1975 penny with a unique trait comes to auction, it attracts attention from every continent. There's also a sociological angle to the 1975 penny's rise in mystique. It represents something rare in today's economy: stability. While everything else changes, while technologies evolve, currencies fluctuate, and economies swing, the penny remains. It looks the same, weighs the same, and carries the same denomination. Yet this humble, stable object holds the potential for explosive volatility in value. It's the coin equivalent of a lottery ticket backed by history instead of chance. And in uncertain times, the idea that something small and familiar could carry massive hidden value is a powerful psychological anchor. Media has played a huge role in amplifying this fascination. News stories that highlight rare coin finds from pocket change, viral videos showing coin roll hunts leading to valuable discoveries, and documentaries about treasure hunters and antique dealers have all increased public awareness. Suddenly, people who never gave coins a second thought are pulling out magnifying glasses and learning to identify die cracks, lamination errors, and wide AM versus close AM designs. The 1975 penny sits at the center of this media storm, not just as an object of financial interest, but as a symbol of the hidden treasures in everyday life. The pop culture influence can't be ignored either. Appearances of rare coins in movies, TV shows, and even music lyrics have contributed to the aura. The 1975 penny, in particular, has started to gain legendary status among YouTubers, TikTok influencers, and online treasure hunters. With stories circulating about values reaching into the tens or hundreds of millions, it's no surprise that search engines are flooded with queries like, "How much is my 1975 penny worth?" or "Rarest penny ever found." This coin has essentially become a meme, but a meme backed by historical data and actual collector interest. Collectors also understand that the $193 million price tag, while extreme, is not impossible. They look at past precedent. In 2010, a 1794 silver dollar sold for over $10 million. In 2002, A 1933 Double Eagle fetched nearly $8 million. Those prices were based on condition, story, and rarity, all elements the 1975 penny may yet possess in a future find. There's a belief in the community that when the right 1975 coin appears, a perfect storm of error, condition, and provenance, the market will respond with record-breaking bids. And when that day comes, it will confirm what dedicated collectors have known all along, that small things can be worth extraordinary sums. So, collectors continue to search. They dig through change jars, bid on lots from estate sales, sort through old rolls from coin shops and auctions, always on the lookout for that elusive 1975 cent. They compare their finds with known varieties, submit promising coins to grading companies, and dream of that one perfect example that no one else has ever found. The thrill is not just in the owning, but in the hunting, and the...
You can replace this text with any text you wish. You can either write in this text box or paste your own text here. Try different languages and voices. Change the speed and the pitch of the voice. You can even tweak the SSML, speech synthesis markup language, to control how the different sections of the text sound. Click on SSML above to give it a try. Enjoy using text-to-speech.